everybody, I'm back. Yeah, I've had a wonderful holiday. The weather was great. I'm sure a lot of you seen my message from Jamaica. I'm so well rested, folks. But 2 weeks was a little bit long. I don't know that I'll do that again. However, it was great. The weather was awesome. I did get some rain, but it's to be expected. It is winter down there, right? Anyway, we're back to, do all kinds of stuff here. Now, I'm starting a new wreath because there was a lady that inquired about a turquoise wreath with me, and she wanted one of those ruffled mills. So that's what I'm doing right now, and that's what I thought we could start this next video with. Now, I did make an adjustment on my purple wreath, folks. It was a matter of three simple petals, okay? It's amazing what, something so little can affect something. So what I did to my wreath is I took 3 of my petals off, okay, the 3 of them that were in the middle, and I added some more burlap to it, okay? I bring my camera up to it. Now, here it is, folks. Look at that. It just looks so much better. I don't want to take it off the wall because, it is poly burlap. The more I play around with it, the more I'm just going to fray some stuff. So anyway, I added another round of this burlap. I'll take it off the wall. And it just filled it up that much better, right? I love it much better now. I know it's a little bit unconventional as far as, the ruffle is normally made, but I like the way it came out like a little rosette, and I'm glad that I left the wire in here, okay, because I was able to manipulate in all kinds of ways. So there's the wreath. I love it so much more, and all it was these 3 wreath petals that were in 3 different sections. I'll tell you what, it just, now at least my middle is popping out. This made it too dark. So I got a lot of responses on the craft group, and they all agreed with me that this was the way to go with it. I sprayed it like crazy with Rust-Oleum because, it is polyburlap, right? And I'm really being careful with the petals that I'm making right now. So I decided to get myself back into, the groove of things because I had been away for 2 weeks. And I decided to make, I don't know if anybody watches Hickey Ann on Facebook, but I do because, I learned a lot from her, like making bows and stuff. So she was making watering cans the other night, and here's my watering can. Isn't that cute? I just went crazy. I was like, oh, I love those little watering cans. And I think I'm going to put these in my craft show because, something a little different, nice and springy, and you guys got to let me know if you want to make these. And here's another one that I made for my show. Isn't that cute? These things are gorgeous. I love them. So I don't know if you all want to learn this. So I just wanted to show you that to get myself back into the groove of things. I made a couple of arrangements. Also, I just did a little test a little while ago. I took some white glue, and before this, the end of your burlap, well, I took some white glue and I just glued it in one certain area. And I'm going to take this little fray here, and that's where my glue is. It stops. Look at that. So white glue right there, you can't even see it. You can't even see that it's there, but it's keeping that fray in there. So, you know, if you want to do your petals first with a strip of white glue, it might be an idea, you know, to keep your frays down. However, you know, it's all about, for me, yeah, I do get frays on my petals, but it's all about being careful on how you're making it, okay? And not playing around with it too much. So right now, I'm gonna bring my camera down and show you where I'm at. I'm just gonna get rid of these purple petals because I really don't need these anymore. So Easter's coming, folks. I got some little bunnies and some carrots, and I thought I'd make a couple more of these little watering cans and put those guys in there. It'd be cute, right? Anyway, I miss doing my videos. I missed everybody. We are so close to my giveaway. Oh my gosh. I think we're 6 people away, 7. That's so awesome. I can't wait to give these flowers away, folks. Like I said, if you're in the States and you win this flower, you know, maybe we can meet halfway on the shipping. If it's here in Canada, I have no problem shipping it to you anywhere across Canada because it's not going to cost me double what it would to the States. So, and I'm also going to be going across the border and getting myself a mailbox so that I'll be able to ship some orders from stateside, which will be so much cheaper for everyone, right? All right. I'm glad you all agree with me since you're not here. Anyway, thank you for all the nice well wishes when I was away. You guys are great. I was amazed. I even picked up some people in Jamaica. I told them that if they don't have material, make it up. I made a rag wreath, and you know, all it is just a square piece of mesh. Anything, okay? I should get that rag wreath one day and bring it out here and show you guys. Okay, so what I'm doing is my material I'm using, okay, is I'm using turquoise, all right? And I'm using a turquoise and cream mesh, and I'm using a cream, all right? So this is my first row. This will be my second row. This is going to be on top of this, okay? And then I'm going to have another row of this on top of that. So, yeah, that's going to be cool. And then I'm putting a ruffled middle with burlap. I've got some beautiful turquoise burlap here. Oh, I've got it right here. So this is what I'm going to be using in my flower. It's going to be beautiful. So I've already started it, and it's basically like I did with the purple one. I'm just pulled at the wire, and I got it to ruffle for me, okay? And one thing that I learned about that is when you put it in together into your mesh, you know, overlapping it and grabbing, you know, two pieces together is really the way to go. So what I mean by that is that when you're putting it on your mesh, okay, so I'm like overlapping is what I mean, is that I'm grabbing, like I'm pinching this, and then, you know, so that we have a continuous, this is what I'm going to do, so that it's a continuous ruffle as opposed to a rosette, all right? Yeah. Boy, I like the hard way on this, okay? But that's the way I like it. You know, when you haven't done something and, you know, you need to experiment, especially before I give away an order, you know, I like to experiment and make sure that my order is going to be exactly the way the client wants it. So, This client asked for this wreath a long time ago. And she said she was in no hurry because it was, you know, not until spring. Well, we're almost there. So I'm using a 14-inch wreath frame on this one because I want a good size wreath. I'm only using a single petal like I did here, but I'm only going to try and touch my petals and that'll be it. Okay, so I'm going to bring my camera down so you guys can follow me. I'm going to get right down here. Okay. So like you can see, I've made some of my petals, and I'm going to show you how I make these, all right? Now, so the poly burlap is 10 inches. You can be pretty much sure that it's 10 inches. You don't have to worry about it. You know it's 10 inches. Any poly burlap I've worked with, it was always 10 inches. So your edge is up on the top. You take your corner, and you meet your corner in the bottom here and form your triangle. Okay, so look at that. My 10-inch is perfect. I just have to press down on it and I got my 2 tips here. Okay, you see that? So now I'm just gonna hang on to my tip here and I'm going to start scrunching here. All right, until I get to the end. Okay, it's not gonna let go. And then I'm gonna take my 2 little wings and I'm just gonna tuck those in. Now, I am pre-making my petals because I want them to be straight. I want them straight on my frame. I don't want them tilting in any way. Okay, so here, is the important part. So what I do is I make sure my 2 tips are together, okay? Now, because of all this that I've made, right, it's created like a ruffle, all right? So it's all ruffled down. So now I'm keeping my finger there and I'm gonna open it up from the bottom. Okay, so that the mesh stays together and I'm widening out my petal at the bottom, okay? I'm gonna let go of this. There you go. That is why my petals are always, everybody asks me, how come your petals are so perfect? Well, I don't let go. I just don't let go. And then there's where, you know, I open it up at the bottom. So now I'm ready to put my second zip tie in. Okay. I'm going to bring this guy in and ever so gently, I want to make sure that this isn't going to move, but ever so gently, I'm going to tighten this down. So nice and tight. I'm not going to lose my other zip tie. Now, you see right here, it is starting to fray. If you wanted to, you can take some white glue and put some of that white glue here, okay? But what I'm going to do, as soon as I put this first row down on my petals, I'm going to spray it with Rust-Oleum, all right? Rust-Oleum is, it's a sealer, and it'll stop my frame pretty much immediately because I'm going to be working with it again. So I don't have the can right here. I swore it was here. It must be in the other room because I used it the other day. So yes, so always open from the bottom, okay? And hang on to your end here. And then you'll see. But see, I got a good fray here. So here's what I'm going to do. I take my glue. And I just give it a dab right here on the end. Now, this will not be seen. Okay. I take my little thing here and I leave it like that. I'll let that dry. So here you go. I got a little bit of glue here. It's going to dry nice and clear, and it's going to hang on to that little fray there. We'll give it a little second. And the second one so it doesn't go anywhere. So there you go. That's one way of doing it, okay? So I'll just put this one aside, and we're going to do one more petal because I've got one more piece of mesh here, and then I'll start putting them on. So edges on the top, you take your corner and form your triangle. And if you just push down on it, you should have perfect edges here, okay? So that way I go about, I'd say ½ an inch to an inch above, okay? From the bottom, you start scrunching. I'd say that's, yeah, it's an inch. Fold in my little wings. Put my zip tie on. I don't commit that zip tie right away. I want everything to be flat there, okay? Because I just scrunched all of that. I want all my little veins all to be together. I'm gonna grab my tip here. And now I'm just gonna open up my petal from the bottom. There we go. My tip is still there. I'll turn it around. Stick my other zip tie in. Be very gentle at pinching this down. And there we go. Take my excess off. And there's my beautiful petal. So from here, okay, I'm going to start putting them on the wreath frame. So this is going to be, I think we're going to have to do this video in a couple of sessions. Why am I off here? All right, it was my the ends on my zip ties. It is a little off, I don't know why. This is a very strong wreath form. So I'm using a 14-inch. I put my mesh in, and now I'm just going to start putting my petals in. Now, this is where I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I'm using bar 2 and 3 to put them in. Let's see how many. I've got 8 sections here. And I think I'm only going to fit 2 petals per section. That's what it looks like. Because I don't want an overlap. I want this just to be touching each other. So yeah, it would look like I'm going to be using 2 petals per section. Because now I'm going into the next section, and all I want them is to touch each other. I don't want this to be a really full wreath. I want every one of my rows to be visible. I want my colors to be visible, especially the check and the cream. Now, okay, because I'm using two zip ties here. I can move my petal around, okay, up and down. So see, up and down. But I want it at the bottom, okay? I want them all to be at the bottom. So I want actually this zip tie to be touching bar 3. I'm liking this. So pretty. I didn't finish my petal here. It's funny how the wreath frames are all different. Sometimes you'll get, you know, bigger sections and others that, so it's, you know, you have to figure it out, you know, how you're going to put it down, how you're going to put your petals down, how many you're going to need, you know, and you really have to kind of start working with it to see, you know, what it is that is going to work for you. So I'm liking this. This is really what I'm looking for. They're just touching each other, so it looks like 2 petals per section. So that means I'm going to need 16 petals here. And I don't have 16 petals. I have to cut some more. Yeah. Geez, it's so nice to be back. Folks, let me know if you want to do some of these little watering cans. I mean, I don't mind doing a session or two. I wouldn't want to take away from Higgiana and her stuff because, you know, she is a floral, more floral. She does wreaths as well, but she's more of a floral person. She likes her flowers, and I don't want to take away from her, so let me know if you want to do a watering can or two. I can, you know, I'll do one session on that, and that's, you know, maybe enough. Like I said, don't like to step on anyone's toes. It's not right. So this is going to be so pretty. I've been dying to make this wreath. Since the lady asked me for it, I was like, oh, you know what you like. Oof, because I'll tell you what, I like it too. This is gorgeous. I've seen a few. You know, it's all the way you want it to make it look. And the one of them I seen was just 3 colors. It had 3 colors in it. It had a beige. It had beige. They started with like a beigey brown. And then the blue. What was in the middle? It was beigey brown, blue. Anyway, it ended up finishing with the ruffle. It was just gorgeous. So let's see here. Now I'm touching. These 2 touch. I just want the ends of these guys to touch. I want to make sure I have 2 in each section. That's the whole thing here. Okay, so we'll just keep going, put 2 at each section. This is what's worrying me here. It looks like I just flipped my petal. Did everybody see that? Looks like I might have to space these out a little bit better. Because now that I'm getting here, it looks like everything wants to overlap itself. How about we push them back? I'm going to push them back. There. I'm not sure, folks. Might have to do a little bit of an overlap here. But I don't want too much of an overlap. That's the whole thing. Just ever so slightly. Because by the time I get over here, it's definitely going to be overlapping. And I still want my 2 petals in each section. Something happened to this one. Okay. I have a free, but I'm going to try and hide it. Okay. Where are we at here? 25 minutes. So I'm going to have like 3 more petals here, folks. I'm going to end my video here because I don't have anything cut up. Well, I could do a little bit of a burn, I guess, to show you guys that, you know, to make sure that you guys burn in between these lines here because it's so important. It looks like I'm going to overlap. So I'm going to try going in the next section here. It seems like the more petals that I'm putting on, the more I'm going to overlap. So it looks like I might have to skip one. Let's see. Sometimes you have to do what you got to do, folks, but make sure that you have an even amount of petals so that when you come back, you know, especially if you're doing 2 colors, you know, you want to make sure that you're going to get back, you're going to end up with the same amount of petals, that, or the exact amount of petals to get in between. Because otherwise you'll end up in the wrong side, or you'll end up one less petal, or 2 petals the same color. So there we are. Okay, pretty simple. I'm going to finish. I need to cut a few more of these petals, so how about I do that, and then you guys can see at least the wood burn, you know, the wood burner. And I'm just trying to figure out a place to put this so I don't end up fraying anything. Stick it right there on the floor. Okay, so folks, please be safe when you're wood burning. Using your wood burner, wear a mask, and be in a well-ventilated area, okay? I'm putting my mask on. I'm making sure that everything is safe because this is toxic fumes, and the last thing you want to do is to be breathing this stuff, all right? It's not good for you, you know, especially if you have lung problems or anything like that. It's plastic, and it gives off a bad fume, all right? Please be safe. Please be safe with your wood burner. That is very important. Now, I use the tip that's on an angle, and the angle is always at the top, okay? And where we go, okay, so I'm looking at 10 inches. I make sure that the edges are at 10 inches. I got my markings, and I'm just going to cut right at 10 inches. I'm going to go a little slow because it's poly burlap. I want to create like this tiny little ball at the end there so that, you know, I get less fraying. So there's one. I'm going to cut maybe, let's see, 1, 2, 4. I need 4 petals. So in this session, we're doing a little bit of wood burning, and I showed you how to do that single petal with 2 zip ties, okay? The reason I'm doing the 2 zip ties, it's because I want my petals to lay down flat and straight on my wreath frame, okay? This is why I'm doing it this way. You can put it right on your wreath frame if you like. That's up to you. But when you put your zip tie on it, your petal will tilt a little bit. And that's okay too, because like, you know, if you look at a petal, I mean a flower, not everything's perfect, right? So, you know, we all got to think about that. A petal, you know, a flower, nothing's perfect about a flower. Absolutely not. Every petal is different. That's the way I see them. And that's how I like to make my wreaths, is that every petal is different. So there you go. That's, you know, I made sure I stayed in between these lines because it's all about fraying, okay? And, you know, cross that up with the edge on the top, and then you bring your, form a triangle, and if you've cut perfect triangle, a perfect 10 inch, everything's going to meet for you on each end. Look at that. Nice little crisp end here. And I'm going to scrunch that up. Okay, I keep my finger on the end. Stick those wings in. And the wings, listen folks, I'm just tucking them in enough for them to stay there and out of my way, okay? Now look at this. Everything's flipped up. So I'm just going to flatten everything down here because it all flipped up when I put my zip tie on. I'm going to flatten my zip tie over here. Now I'm going to grab the tip of my petal, okay? Keep those two ends together. And I'm going to start bringing my mesh over. Here it's sticking right out, so I really want this to be underneath, okay? And then I start playing with the underneath part where I folded right there, the little folds. I'll let it go. And there we go. Not bad, huh? So I'll do one more for you. So edge on the top, and then you grab your corner, form a triangle, and be careful with it. Don't manipulate it too much because this is where everything starts to fray. As soon as you start to scrunch this, that's where your fraying starts. So you just kind of do it, get it over with, let go of that end, tuck those wings in. I still got my mask on, probably sounding pretty mumbo jumbo in there. Boy, these masks. Well, it doesn't look like I'm gonna get rid of mine anytime soon. But I'll tell you, I can't wait to walk around without one. Okay, so see how everything's kind of off here? I don't know if you guys can see that. So I'm just going to tuck that in, and I'm just going to open this up. Go to the other side, open that up. And there we go. Now, in this case, see my edge? I would say that I went over 1 square too many. When I do this, it's usually that I burnt over 1 square too many. That's how I always know that I overcut my petal. So, there's not much I can do about it. I'm not going to go back in and recut, okay? I'll do the best I can with it and leave it the way it is. It is what it is, so, you know, unless you want to sit here and waste all kinds of products all day, then that's not for me. Thank you very much. So, I'll make it look pretty, and oh, there went that fray. Do you guys see that? That's the end of my petal here. So, watch this. I'm going to do some of this. And put it on the end of my finger. I find that putting it on the end of my finger works better. So I'm going to put it here. Put it back where it belongs. And I'm just going to let it dry. So that other one that I let dry, you can't even tell that I put anything on there. So, very cool. White glue for the fraying. I think it's a wonderful idea. I'm going to bring my camera up. So, just remember, you know, to be very careful with your wreath and choosing your colors and what you're doing, because it really looked nice when I had those 3 petals in it. I loved it. The only thing is when I put that pink, the dark purple in there, this got lost. It just totally got lost. It looked like a big black hole. So be cognizant of that. Okay, yeah, I could use the dark petals, but very little of it, all right? Because it's so easy for you to go dark on a wreath. It's happened to me a couple of times with like a maroon color. And so here's where we're at with the purple one. I mean, the turquoise one. This is going to be a really beautiful wreath. So I'm going to finish with these petals. And my next video, I'm going to have all my petals ready. The beige ones, I mean the cream colored ones and the checked ones. And as well as some more blue ones for the middle, okay? As well, I'll have my ruffle ready. And we'll do all that together. All right, folks. We're at 36 minutes. This is a pretty long video for me. But it's so nice to be back. And again, let me know, you know, if you guys are interested in doing anything like this. I don't know. It's just something a little different. It's something to keep the mind, maybe like, you know, you're not quite sure what you want to do. Well, you know, make one of these. It's so therapeutic. And then, you know, all of a sudden, you know, my creative juices started flowing again. So let me know if you want to do one of these. It's pretty simple. Anyway, on that note, folks, sorry I gave you the camera shake. I don't know where my button is, so it's my finger. I'd like to wish everybody a beautiful day, and I'm happy to be back. And I wish everybody Easter's coming. I just lost my train of thought. I'm so sorry. Anyway, have a great day, folks, and God bless each and every one of you. I love you all.